Hi, it's Brendan Howe here with another edition of C-Suite Tech Talks, where we give technology advice and strategy specifically for senior executives and business leaders. Today, I'm talking about the 3 top tech priorities for 2023. It's a time of the year where a lot of people sit back and think about, okay, what's my plan for the year? What do I accomplish? What do I want to accomplish? What's changing? I spoke to a business owner the other day that was bemoaning the fact with technology, there used to be a day where we could just once every 4 years, we'd make a bunch of changes, replace a server, replace a bunch of computers, that sort of thing, and not have to think about technology for another 4 years. Well, times have changed. Now we have to think about it on an ongoing basis if we're going to provide our staff with the tools to be successful. So these 3 things need to be in your technology roadmap for the year. So I'm going to get as specific as possible for you. Number 1, sort out the basics. Number 2, go deeper with Microsoft 365. And number 3, do more on cybersecurity. Let me take just a minute and explain to you what those 3 things mean. So on the basics, these are your computers, your network equipment, docking stations, boardrooms. All of us as business owners, we want our staff to be super productive, useful, accomplishing a lot. But when they come in the day and their docking station doesn't work at the office, or the Wi-Fi doesn't work, or they're having Outlook problems, or they're working from home and they have to use dreaded VPN and the VPN connection keeps dropping and stuff like that, those are the basics. That stuff's got to work. So if there's areas within the basics that aren't in good shape with your organization, you need to sort that out. That needs to be a top priority for 2023 to make sure that you can move to a higher level of technology in a more strategic area of technology. Number 2, doing more with Microsoft 365. One of the things that I find most frustrating with our business, and I talk to other business owners all the time about their frustration, they pay all this money for Microsoft 365 licenses, and they log into this portal and they see there's like 27 different applications that their company is not using. It's amazing. We pay all this money for Microsoft 365 licenses, but there's all this stuff that we're not using. So think about it. Do more this year with less in Microsoft 365. Here's what I'm talking about. There's 2 things that I'd suggest for your roadmap, depending on where your organization is at. If you haven't moved to SharePoint, if you haven't moved to Azure AD, if you haven't gotten rid of any server in your office that doesn't need to be there, then that should be the priority. Move to SharePoint, get rid of servers, get all that kind of infrastructure, that stuff back in the server room, get rid of it. You don't need it. We have over 60% of our client base no longer has any servers on premise in their office anymore. And we're talking about most of our clients are between 30 and 150 employees. So if you're there, if you've got your stuff into SharePoint, if you've modernized your security, if you're no longer using VPN, then here's the next step. Start looking at data. Start looking at where your data is and how dashboards, workflow, how hard is it for you to get meaningful data and information to your team so they can make good business decisions and they can move forward quickly. So look at Power BI, look at Power Automate, look at automating workflow and supporting your staff. We're all short of resources. So that next level of technology, that more strategic part of technology, is how do we automate these different workflows to make our teams way more productive. Okay, third, last but not least, do more with cybersecurity. So the hackers out there are doing way more. So here's an example. Just recently, we heard about somebody that put in place multi-factor authentication. Everybody's like, if you talk to the insurance companies, they're like, do you make sure you have MFA? That's really important security. And while it is, people are now getting hacked that have MFA. What the hackers are doing is they're putting all sorts of requests in for the authentication, and somebody will open up their phone and by accident, they'll approve an authentication request. So MFA is getting hacked. So there's an example of where you need to continue to put more and more into cybersecurity. So if you don't have MFA in place, please put MFA in place. If you do, start looking at things like conditional access. And what used to be an optional thing, having a SIM or SOC, what's called Security Incident Event Management or Security Operating Center. It's now mandatory. There should be somebody actively threat hunting your network to see if there's any issues there, actively monitoring, a higher level of monitoring. It's what we're suggesting across our client base. So there you have it. Sort out the basics, do more with what you're already paying for in Microsoft 365, and do more on cybersecurity. Every part of those three things can and should be customized for your business. Your organization is different. Your goals are different. That's why it's so important that you have a technology strategy that's aligned with where you're going as a business. Please reach out to us. We'll help you put together a really good strategy in accordance with those three top priorities. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.